She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. Hey, what impact does your marriage have on your work life? None, Dani. None at all. Doesn't make a difference. Dude, chill. Think about this. What if it did and you don't even realize it? You see, we all have blind spots, and in those blind spots, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Do you understand? So it's kind of like this. You know when you're driving and we have a rear view mirror and then we have the two side mirrors, right? Now, they taught us when we were learning how to drive that there are blind spots, that these three mirrors cannot see everything. We literally have to turn our head and look behind us to make sure, or look to the side of us to make sure that there's not a car in our blind spot. You see, we have major blind spots. We really do. I want you to do this with me right now. I recently did this with a group of people at First Steps to Success. I want you to put your hands in front of you. Hold them out to where you can see them, right? Now I want you to slowly pull your hands back to where you can no longer see them. Okay? You can't see them, right? Does it mean that because I cannot see my hands right now, does it mean that they are not there? No. So just like you right now, if you're doing this exercise with me, put your hands out here. Now slowly pull them back to them when you cannot see them. So just because you cannot see your hands, does that mean that they're not there? No, they are still there. And so are our blind spots. We all have them. We have lots of them. And to be quite honest with you, your spouse can see your hands if you're standing in front of your spouse when you cannot see your hands. I cannot see the side of my body. When I'm looking at you right now, I can't see any of this. I can't see any of this. I can't see any of it with my eyes at all. You can see all. You can see all of this. I can't see any. You can see this. You can see this. You can see this. I can't see all of it. I can't see any of it. But just because you can't see doesn't mean it's not there. And so largely, people who have toxic marriages have toxic work environments. Where people have boring marriages, they also have a tendency of bringing that to work. Your marriage has a huge impact on your production at work. In fact, according to entrepreneur.com, your income is actually directly related to the quality of your relationships at home. Income and marriage are closely related. Men in healthy marriages make more money. Girlfriend, did you just hear that? Did you just hear that? Men who are in healthy relationships make more money. You want your husband to make more money? Then girlfriend, you have to ask yourself, am I a healthy woman that is married to this man? And am I helping to do my part to create a healthy marriage for the two of us? The article also noted that people make the mistake of putting in more hours and trying to work harder, which can actually hurt long-term results at work. So they think, okay, I'm having the problems at home, and so the way to fix my problems at home is to work more. I'm watching this happen right now in a relationship where the husband is gone 3 nights a week for work and then an extra night a week away with the guys and then 1 day on the weekends, literally just keeping himself away from his wife and children. Somehow he thinks that this is going to fix the problems that are inside the marriage, but all it's doing is deepening the pain and deepening the loneliness inside of the wife. Running from your communication problems and challenges is never going to fix the marriage. Running into those problems is where you're going to find safety, intimacy, satisfaction, and fulfillment. And from that place of safety, intimacy, satisfaction, and fulfillment, you go to work as that guy or that gal. Now what you have is an incredibly fulfilling career. Now your attitude is different about your career. Now things get easier in your career and the pressure is much easier to handle. In fact, you can actually take the pressure and stress that you're having at work, you can drop that thing by 50%, at least by 50%, simply by walking straight into the communication problems that are happening at home. In the year following a divorce, workers lose an average of 168 hours or 21 days of time on the job. So this is what happens when the marriage isn't right and it's gone now to a place of divorce. Employees in successful relationships show that they have less sick time, they're more dependable, motivated, and stable at work. Wow. So it's almost like if we are an employer, and by the way, we did a show on this actually this year, and it was really powerful because we asked that question of like, hey, I had heard, for example, of some other companies that the way that they interviewed is that they always interviewed the spouse as well. And in interviewing the spouse, how that person treated their spouse determined whether or not the person was going to be hired. Because if they did not have a good, healthy relationship at home, then the corporation knew this guy's going to call in sick a lot. He's going to be distracted a lot. He's going to lack some motivation no matter what he's saying in this interview. And if he's disrespectful to his wife, he's going to be disrespectful. Chances are he will be disrespectful to female coworkers as well. Because if he's not honorable to his own wife, someone he's made a lifelong commitment to, how much less honorable will he be to the coworkers that he'll be working with? So take that to note, friend. I mean, this is important. So employees who have successful relationships reduced health insurance costs. Wow. So you can save money if you, instead of running from your relationship challenges, you run right into those challenges instead, and you deal with those challenges, and you work through the hard issues that both of you have, and you run right into learning better communication skills. You learn you learn how to negotiate this thing called marriage, and you also learn to deal with your own selfishness and your own selfish desires inside of this relationship. Because guess what? If there's problem in the marriage, there are two people who have selfish issues. It's not just the other person, it's both of you. No, you don't understand. He's the one. No, friend, listen to me. Defending yourself never solves the problem. And what you defend, you cannot be healed. Whatever you're defending can't be healed. What you defend stays hidden. And that which is hidden in darkness is what's rotting you like a cancer. It's eating you up inside. It's festering like a wound, an open wound that is oozing pus. Listen to me. So quit defending yourself on how you're the selfless person. Quit defending yourself on you're the one that's doing everything right and he's doing everything wrong, or she's the one doing everything wrong and you're the one doing everything right. That which you defend will stay toxic. So run into it. Run into it. Get yourself some help. Get some counseling. Why? Why would it help you to get some counseling? Because you're going to have less sick time. You're going to be more dependable, more motivated, and more stable at work. You're going to have increased creativity and increased productivity. You're going to reduce your health insurance costs, and you're going to increase retention and overall morale in the workforce. So you're going to elevate yourself if you do what I'm saying. Just think about it. Rather than staying the same, and rather than going around this mountain another year of these crazy, crazy, hostile set of circumstances, and or you both play the silent treatment. I recently just heard about a marriage of 48 years, one being a pastor and a marriage counselor, 48 years. And these two never had conflict. They would not come in, and a counselor who's not willing to talk, not willing to work through the issues with his own wife, not willing to get counseling himself as he recommends to everyone else that they get counseling, but they're not getting counseling themselves. The marriage ended, and it looks like it ended in adultery. Not with the wife, but with the husband, with somebody that he was counseling. So friend, listen to me. You don't want to end up there. You don't want to suffer for 48 years making less money than you could have. You don't want to suffer for 48 years having decreased productivity, lack of creativity, high insurance costs. You do not want to be that person who's not dependable or stable. Don't suffer for 48 years. Run right into the problem. Get yourself some help because you're going to make more money. You'll be more productive. You'll be more fulfilled. You'll be more satisfied. And if you choose to do what most people do, they just choose to get a divorce and start all over again, and they wind up in the same pile of junk. They wind up in the same set of circumstances. And then by the time the third marriage rolls around, they start to learn. They're like, oh, okay, I guess it was me these last 2 times. Whether it's the you who seemed to attract the abuser and somehow you feel like you deserve to be abused, well, guess what? Someone who has that mindset is going to provoke someone else to abuse them. So even then, you're never the victim. You got to deal with your part so that you can be more fulfilled, so that you can make more money, so you can have less insurance costs, so you can be more productive, more stable, more motivated, so that you can be more creative, so that you can have less stress, less sick time, less insurance costs, less health issues, okay? And better retained and overall better morale that you're bringing into the workplace. Don't you want all those things? Yes, you do. So we asked this question. And by the way, I want to know what you think. Can you just type in right now, if you're watching this on television, come on over to DaniJohnson.com and you'll find today's show right there, right at the top of the page. Actually, you have to scroll down a little bit, or you could just click on the show and you're going to find today's show. Just leave us a comment. I want to know how your marriage affects your work life. If you have a great marriage, we want to hear how that affects your work life. If your marriage is okay, I want you to write how that affects your work life. You know, kind of like, you guys have been intimate together for a while, and in the lack of intimacy, what happens? Like you wake up unfulfilled, you go to work, you kind of feel low, you kind of feel a little depressed, you're feeling kind of not motivated, you just don't know what's wrong. It's like, gosh, I just don't want to go to work today, and you're trying to find excuses in your head why you don't. Maybe you just discovered why. Could be the quality of that marriage bed relationship that is boring or non-existent or not what you had hoped for, not what you had expected. You fix that. And by the way, it's all fixable. It's all fixable. I promise you. I've seen God work the greatest of all miracles with that. So anyway, we asked this question on our Facebook page, in our social media channels. Go to Dani Johnson Live on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. That's where you can find us. If you haven't joined us on any of those pages, come on over. You got to meet these people. But Amy wrote on our page, where we asked the question, how does it affect? She says, I homeschool my 3 kids, so it is my work. I have a wonderful marriage. However, if my husband and I are offended at each other, we have an issue. We both can't function until we get it straight. Our relationship affects everything. We have to work really hard to stay connected. So look, Amy's doing exactly what I'm talking about. It's run into the problem. You got to get it out. You got to work it out. You got to talk it through. And of course, do that in honor. Do it with respect. But do it. It's disrespectful and dishonorable if you're giving yourselves the silent treatment. And by the way, you're not being silent. You're communicating with all that nonverbal communication, and you're saying, I reject you, I'm mad at you, I don't want to be around you, which is straight up manipulation, which is never good. Dennis Robinson writes this. This is awesome. His answer to that question, how does your marriage impact you at work? He says 100%. He said, I had a great supportive wife at home who was affectionate and had my back. There were no work pressures for me. I could laugh at it. Many of my coworkers were not so lucky, had bad wives, and none and work pressurized them. Isn't that sad? And it's sad that a man would know that he's got friends that don't have supportive wives or affectionate wives, right? So what a sweet thing to hear Dennis brag about his wife. I think it's beautiful. Louis Olivia, this is eye-opening. He says, first of all, sorry for the long response. I must admit, for years I have preached to my coworkers about making sure that their life at home was in order, that they couldn't come to work and perform 100% if they were stressed at home. It absolutely affects your performance. He says, my father slapped me right upside the head just before First Steps to Success in San Diego in January. What a hypocrite I was being. My focus was not on my personal life. I was focused 100% on the business that my wife and I have had the privilege to own together. In January, I decided to make my family my number one priority. life is way better. Hey, look at this. They work together, so he assumes he's spending all this time with his wife. Nope. That is working together. That is not spending time together. Now, that's something that people often confuse. Hans and I confused it also for years, where we had worked together, and that has the element of sort of being together, but it's not. It's actually working together. The relationship needs those intimate conversations. The relationship needs that emotional connection, and that relationship needs time to be able to build that with each other, and work is not that time. It's not that time at all. So anyway, I hope today helped you. I hope it impacted you. I hope it's causing you to question and go, hey, am I on the right track? And listen, if you are, wanting to make sure you stay on the right track, or if you found yourself not quite in the right place, and you're like, dang, man, I'm kind of neglecting this relationship over, I need to fix it. Maybe you need some new ideas. I want to give you something. It's called First Steps to Wealth. It's a book. I want to give it to you for free. I'll pay for the $15 book if you pay the shipping to get it to your house. We already paid the shipping to get it to our warehouse. Now you pay for the shipping to get it to your house. I want you to get a hold of this, because the first several chapters are all about relationship. First steps to wealth, meaning wealth, the full picture, the wealth of relationships, the wealth of health, the wealth of finances, and the wealth of a legacy moving forward. So we want to help you. Listen, nobody is immune to learning new relationship skills. Nobody is immune to learning new communication skills. Some of the communication skills that maybe you mastered in the very beginning when you were dating that somehow have gotten lost, let's go back to what those things are that work, and they work so very, very well. As well as maybe kind of digging in and looking at what's caused you to be maybe a little bitter towards your spouse, a little resentful, and kind of close them off. You're going to discover in that book what that is and how to fix it. How do we overturn this and put you right on the right path so that you can increase your income, get back to being really creative and productive, get back to having less stress at work, and feeling better about yourself overall. FirstStepsToWealth.com is where you can get the copy of the book. Again, that's FirstStepsToWealth.com. It's free. Get your free copy right now. FirstStepsToWealth.com. You pay the shipping to your house. We'll pay for the rest. Hey, please share today's video, and we want to know, how did you feel about today's show? I want you to answer the question. How does your marriage affect you at work? We want to learn from each other. All right, God bless you. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.